We all know the rule. We recite it like a modern-day prayer. Don't answer unknown numbers. It's a simple act of self-preservation, a digital wall we build to dodge the scammers, the telemarketers, the relentless noise of the outside world. But what happens when that wall is breached by someone you love? What happens when your own sister breaks that rule? And what do you do when her last desperate call is to you? A call you never even received. This isn't a story you'll find in any police file. Not the whole thing, not the part that matters. The official record is sterile, a 2-page document filled with procedural language devoid of terror. But my story, our story, lives in the vast, cold space between what we can explain and what we're terrified to admit might be possible. It's a story that started with a new home, a shared dream of peace and quiet. It ended with a cracked phone screen, a spiderweb of glass reflecting an empty room, and a silence that is louder. So much louder than any scream. My sister, Maya, is gone. And I'm the only one left who knows how it all began. With the simple, innocent act of answering a call. Just 6 months before she disappeared, Maya and I did something we'd spent our entire adult lives dreaming of. We pooled every penny of our savings, took a leap of faith, and bought a small, forgotten fixer-upper deep in the countryside. Miles away from the smog and the symphony of city noise. It was supposed to be our sanctuary, a place to heal and start over. The real estate listing called it rustic charm, which was a polite way of saying it needed a ton of work. But we saw past the peeling paint and the overgrown garden. We saw the promise of it. The air out there felt cleaner, ancient. The nights, a revelation. Pitch black ink that swallowed the world. The quiet was so absolute you could actually hear your own heartbeat. A steady, reassuring drum in the stillness. For those first few weeks, it was perfect. It was our Eden. We spent our days with paint in our hair and sawdust on our clothes, sanding the old pine floors until they shone, and our evenings on the porch, watching fireflies stage a silent ballet in the twilight. It felt like we'd finally found our little corner of the world. A place where nothing bad could ever reach us. A foolish thought, but a beautiful one. Maya was the lifeblood of that house. 3 years younger than me, but always the brave one. The one who moved through life with effortless confidence. She'd be the first one up a shaky ladder to patch the roof, the first to venture into the spider-filled cellar without a flashlight, her laughter echoing off the damp stone walls. She loved the isolation, the disconnect from everything. I'm the opposite. A homebody. I find comfort in the pages of a good book, and the satisfying click of a locked door. I'm the kind of person who keeps their phone on silent, perfectly happy in my own little bubble. Maya's phone, on the other hand, had always been her lifeline, a constant, buzzing, glowing portal to the world. But out here, in our quiet haven, I saw her change. She started leaving it on the kitchen counter for hours, rediscovering the joy of being present. I thought she was learning to love the quiet like I did. It's a cruel irony that a phone call, one filled with nothing but silence, would be the thing that took her away forever. It started on a Tuesday. I remember it exactly. I was on my hands and knees wrestling with the Wi-Fi router, which had decided it didn't enjoy country living. Maya was on the couch, laughing at my losing battle with technology. Then her phone rang. It wasn't her usual ringtone, just some shrill, generic tone she must have downloaded. She frowned. "Unknown number," she said with a shrug, and she answered, "Hello?" A long pause. I watched her face shift from casual curiosity to mild confusion to plain annoyance. She pulled the phone from her ear, stared at it, then tried again. "Hello? Is anyone there?" Nothing. Just silence. She ended the call. "Who was it?" I asked. "No one," she said. "Just silence. Dead air. Probably a glitch." We didn't think much of it. A silent call is weird, but not terrifying. Not yet. The next night it happened again, and the night after that. Always around the same time. Always from a blocked number. Always silent. Not static. Not background noise. Just a void. By the fourth call, Maya's casual annoyance had turned into real fear. She stopped answering, but the calls kept coming. Her call log became a grim list of missed calls, each one a tiny reminder of her growing dread. The pattern became ritual. Every night, 12:17 a.m. Some call it the witching hour, the time when the veil between worlds is thinnest. Whether it was a prankster or something else, it was working. Maya started to unravel. She jumped at every creak of the house. She checked the locks twice, sometimes 3 times. The fearless girl I knew was fading into a pale, haunted shadow. Sleep became impossible. She'd lie awake, phone in hand, waiting for the ring. She called the phone company. They said the calls were spoofed, untraceable. The police said it wasn't a crime, just a nuisance. Change your number, they said. They missed the point. It wasn't about the number, it was about being hunted by silence. I begged her to turn it off, throw it in a drawer, but she couldn't. It was like she was trapped in its gravity, terrified of it, but unable to look away. Then one night I woke up to a sound from her room. She was standing in the dark, phone to her ear. "Maya?" I whispered. She didn't move. Then slowly she lowered the phone, her eyes wide, terrified. This time, she said, voice trembling, "I heard something. Not a voice. A song. A music box. The one we had when we were kids." That music box was gone, lost 10 years ago. No one could have known about it. And in that instant, her fear became mine. It's easy to say what you do from the outside. Move. Scream at the police. Destroy the phone. But when fear lives in your house, it freezes you. We felt trapped, besieged in our sanctuary. So before I tell you how it ends, think about it. What would you have done? What would you have told me to do? Tell me in the comments below. And if this story is hitting home for you, please take a second to hit that like button. It really helps. The last day felt normal. Terrifyingly normal. It was Thursday. Maya was calm, almost peaceful. She said she'd change her number in the morning. We made pasta. Too much garlic. Laughed at a dumb comedy on TV. For the first time in weeks, it felt like we were safe. She went to bed early. I stayed up reading on the couch and drifted off to the sound of crickets. When I woke, the house was cold. Still. Maya? No answer. Her bed was messy, like someone left in a hurry. Her phone was on the floor, screen shattered, spiderweb cracks across the glass. Maya never went anywhere without her phone. I screamed her name, ran outside. Nothing. Only silence. The police came. They searched. Found nothing. No footprints, no struggle, no witnesses. To them, it was simple, a missing person. To me, it was the start of a nightmare. A week passed. No sign of her. When the police returned her phone, it was sealed in a plastic evidence bag. They found nothing, just a list of blocked numbers. That night, I sat in her room, holding the shattered phone. The silence was heavy. I opened my own phone, scrolling through my missed calls. That's when I saw it. A missed call, 12:17 a.m. The night she vanished. The call was from Maya's number. I froze. I was asleep on the couch that night, right next to my phone. It never rang, never vibrated, no screen light, nothing. But there it was, a call that I never heard. That one impossible call changed everything. The police think she ran away. They have theories, logical, safe theories. But they don't explain the nightly calls. They don't explain the music box, and they don't explain how she called me from her own phone without a sound. My sister didn't vanish. She was erased. Erased by something that existed only through a phone line, a voice that was never there. The last trace of her is a cracked screen and a record of a call I never answered. They say she broke the rule. She answered an unknown number. But what do you do when the last impossible call comes to you and you can't answer? What happens when all that's left is the crushing, deafening silence on the other end of the line? They were waiting for me to come home. You know that quiet comfort you feel when you finally lock your front door at night? That soft exhale of relief, like the world can't touch you anymore. Your home becomes your safe place, your boundary against everything unknown. But what if that sense of security is an illusion? What if the danger isn't on the other side of the door, but already inside, waiting for you to return? For me, that realization started with a single, silent phone call from my own number. This story was sent in by a viewer named Mark, and it's a chilling reminder that home isn't always a safe haven. Sometimes it's the stage for your worst nightmare. If you've ever had a story like this, send it to the email in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe if you love hearing real horror stories. Now, let's dive into Mark's experience. It was an ordinary Friday night in late October. 17-year-old Mark had plans to see a hockey game with his friend Kevin. His parents and younger brother stayed home, his dad in the garage, his mom busy in the kitchen, his brother playing video games on the living room floor. The familiar sounds of home filled the air. It was warm, normal, peaceful. Mark grabbed his keys, called out a casual goodbye, and left for the game, never thinking twice about it. The arena was alive with noise. Cheering fans, blaring music, the smell of popcorn and sweat and cold air. It was everything a teenager could want, a few hours of excitement, distraction, and freedom. But in the middle of that noise, something strange happened. During the second intermission, Mark's phone buzzed. He pulled it from his pocket, expecting a text from his mom. Instead, the caller ID made his stomach twist. His own name, his own number. He blinked, confused. Maybe a glitch, some kind of network bug. Still, curiosity got the better of him. He answered, "Hello?" No response. Just faint static, and beneath it, a sound that made his skin crawl. Breathing. Slow, steady, deliberate. "Who is this?" he asked louder, pressing the phone to his ear. Still nothing, just that calm, patient breathing. He hung up, unsettled, and showed the screen to Kevin. "Dude, it says me." Kevin laughed it off, calling it a phone glitch. Mark tried to believe him, but something about that breathing, that eerie calmness, wouldn't leave his head. He called his house phone, then his mom's, then his dad's. No one answered. Maybe they'd gone out. Maybe it was nothing. He told himself not to overthink it. He didn't know that phone call wasn't random. The unsettling discovery. By the time Mark drove home, the night felt heavier. The streets were empty, the sky moonless, the air sharp with cold. His house looked normal, quiet and dark. But that silence didn't comfort him this time. He stepped onto the porch, slipped his key in the lock, and froze. The door pushed open before he turned it. It was unlocked. His dad never left a door unlocked. Ever. He called out softly. "Mom?" Nothing. The air inside was still. Then he noticed something on the floor, a smear of dark mud on the hallway rug. Then another, thick clumps of soil, damp and fresh. They led from the back of the house, down the hall, toward him. Mark's heart began to pound. He followed them quietly. They didn't go upstairs. They came from the kitchen, from the direction of the back sliding door. He reached the kitchen. The door was unlocked, slightly ajar, letting in a faint draft of cold air. The footprints were thicker there. But they didn't lead to the door. They led away from it. They started at his bedroom. His blood went cold. The prints came out of his room. Whoever had left them hadn't broken in. They had already been inside. And that phone call from his own number, it wasn't a glitch. Someone had been in his house when he called. They had picked up the home phone and just listened. Silent, calm, breathing into the receiver while he stood in a crowded arena miles away. Everything connected in a horrifying instant. Someone had entered his home through the back, walked into his bedroom, and when he called, they were right there, answering from inside his house. The footprints leading away from his room meant one thing. They'd been waiting for him to come home. He could almost picture it. A stranger standing in his dark room, his phone glowing on the nightstand, breathing softly, waiting for the sound of the door opening. That thought made Mark's chest tighten. Were they still here? Hiding? Watching? He didn't yell or search. His instinct screamed one word, run. Step by step, he backed away from the hallway. His hand reached behind him for the front doorknob, twisting it slowly so it wouldn't click. He slipped outside and quietly pulled it shut, his heartbeat thundering in his ears. Then he sprinted. Barely thinking, he ran straight to his neighbor's house and pounded on the door. Mr. Henderson opened it, startled. Mark tried to explain. Someone was in the house. The footprints. The call. His words tumbling over each other. Mr. Henderson pulled him inside while his wife called 911. Police arrived quickly and searched the house. It was empty. No one inside, nothing stolen, no signs of forced entry. Only the muddy footprints, leading from Mark's bedroom to the kitchen window, where faint scuff marks on the outside showed someone had climbed out into the night. An hour later, Mark's parents came home. Their phones had died while they were out for dinner and a movie. He broke down explaining what had happened, shaking, terrified. The intruder was never caught. The police found no leads, just those footprints, that open door, and the chilling story of a phone call from inside the house. Mark never slept the same again. For months, he jammed a chair under his doorknob every night. Every sound, every creak of the floor, every gust of wind felt like someone breathing nearby. That sense of safety that comes from being home was gone forever. He didn't just lose his peace of mind. He lost his trust in silence. Even now, years later, sometimes when the house is still, he swears he hears it again. That faint, calm breathing, steady and patient, like someone waiting for him to come home.